There's the dog. It's a little hard to see.
He is so funny.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
He's a great Dane.
Oh, hi, guys.
He's making up games.
Hi, guys. Welcome, everybody. So, yeah. So here we are.
If there's any way to get the light on yourself, then we can see the dog.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, put the light in front of you.
Or turn something.
Yeah.
No, put the light on.
Great.
Well, welcome to Mr. Sci-Fi, and welcome to the table. And here we are with our simulcast, our amazing simulcast. So, Adam, do you want to start while Judith frumps around?
And gets the light.
Certainly.
Go for it.
Get started here.
Go for it.
My name is Adam Sartain. I am an actor, voice actor, tuba player.
Yes.
And I'm an associate producer on
Space Command. Yay!
And this week's been pretty busy. I booked a principal role on an independent film.
Great.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that shoots in Colorado.
Great.
Starting next week.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun.
Cool.
We get transportation, room and board, all that good stuff.
Great.
And deferred pay. So if it makes money, I can maybe get a little something.
Cool.
But
yay.
Otherwise, I get a free vacation in Breckenridge.
Yay.
So
oh, nice.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I had a little background work through Central Casting
Cool.
this week. So that's happening.
Great.
Wow.
Or, testing mostly. I think they do more testing than actual background work.
Where are you? You were playing before.
So.
And Judith, your mic is on. If you. Yeah. Okay. Great. So go ahead, please, Adam.
Yes. So what else? Yeah. I mean, that's been about.
But that's great.
That's taking up my time. Yeah.
That's great.
That's a lot of good stuff.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, and I got a new chair.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
That's great.
From Staples.
Spectacular.
And I got I finally got the money in from the grants.
Wow.
California did the small business grants.
Yes.
Wow.
And I applied in round 1 and I was awarded.
Wow.
So.
Wow! Congratulations.
Wow, boy!
I'll pay for this chair, and it's going to cover my rent for the next few months.
That's great. Yeah. No, Space Command wasn't.
Supplies.
Yeah, Space Command didn't get that money.
Space Command's covering my food.
Yeah, yeah. But we didn't get the loan from the state. So that's congratulations.
That's wonderful.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Okay.
no. So maybe you could advise
weird.
David. Maybe you could advise David Bartlett on how to, grease the right palms or whatever. So, but yeah, because David. Yeah.
They said they might be doing more, so we'll see.
Don't be a company. That's how.
Don't be a company.
Yeah.
I see.
I think that's what it was.
Really? Wow. So okay. So is there anything you need, Adam?
Right now, I'm doing pretty good.
Great. Well, 3 cheers. Yay. Excellent. So is there a Mr. Sci-Fi question yet?
Okay.
Let's see. A lot of people checking in.
Great. And I've changed the angles because I set up some of the spacesuits and the Mr. Sci-Fi folks never get to see them. They're over there. There's like 4 of them, if you can, from Aliens and Outland and Star Trek and so forth, and Twilight Zone. So it's pretty cool.
Chamberlain says hi to you.
Hi, Todd.
And the spacesuits.
Hello, Todd. Great. Good to hear from you, Todd. So I guess we're up to Judith now. If
Judith,
you want to take your turn,
Can you
Judith.
find your puppy?
Is your puppy anywhere? Oh, we can't hear you yet.
Can you unmute?
You have to unmute.
Okay.
There. Okay. Where's that
Welcome
pup?
to
Oh, now she's going.
She's going to find the
Come
puppy.
here.
Uh-oh.
Welcome to Poopy Central.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. Okay, we still can't see the dog. So
Hold on.
yeah.
Okay.
Come here.
Gotta catch the puppy.
Uh-oh.
Bye.
Yeah, this is what passes for entertainment nowadays.
Yeah.
So okay. There we go. There's the little guy. There he is.
There he
A
is.
little higher, Judith. Just raise a little.
He's already gaining weight.
Yeah,
Of course
just-
he's gaining weight.
can-
He hasn't Jewish mother.
Can you raise him a little higher? We can't really see him.
It's a little bit higher.
There you go. There he is.
Okay.
Yay.
Decide on a name?
Zikri.
There you go.
Yay.
Seriously.
I'm serious. Listen, I have to say something. I have to say a shout out to Marc and Elaine because this week it has been Schlep City.
Mm.
They schlepped me up to Lake Forest with a disappointing end to it.
Mm.
And then I saw a dog Monday night.
Mm.
And I called them at like 10 o'clock in the morning, and they were here and schlepped me all the way out to Moreno Valley.
Yeah.
And we didn't get back until like 6 o'clock. They
No.
have been absolutely marvelous and wonderful. And you can thank you.
Yeah, we'll submit an invoice. So
No, I told you you're getting 2 weeks free babysitting.
sounds great. I certainly need it.
Yeah.
Elaine would love to take off without me.
He has his own games. He loves the wires.
Mm.
But he
Of course.
actually went into his crate by himself today.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah, now
congratulations.
if he would just go on the wee pads, we'd be in good shape.
Well, that's we
But that takes time.
but
But
that-
he's
yeah.
coming along. He cried for 2 days straight. I haven't slept in 2 nights.
poor little guy.
But tonight will be better. He's, and like I said, he went into the crate by himself.
Great, terrific.
And there's a lot of,
What was he crying about? And don't tell me Rush Limbaugh. What was he crying about?
oh please, nobody cries about Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah,
What was I going to say? Because
he was separated.
he went to the rescue place, so he was taken away, and I think he was weaned too early because he was sucking on his tongue last night.
Uh-huh.
And then he cried when he was taken away from the rescue place and his doggy friend.
Mm-hmm.
So he hasn't been crying just when he has to go.
Mm-hmm.
He
Great.
wakes me up at 2 and 3 and 4. That's when I
Yeah.
have a baby.
That's puppy.
That's when having a baby, and I'm very happy. It's so much fun
Great.
to wake up laughing. And he makes up these games with his teddy bear that you gave him.
Mhm.
And I have a red ball. Remember the red note? Well, he loves that. He just makes up his game. And he's the busiest cockroach in town. He has to go and investigate everything. He's very funny.
That's
He
great.
thinks he's a great Dane, and I'm having a great time.
Well, good. That's good. So is there anything else you need, Judith?
No, thank God for you. Thank God for you.
Thanks.
Now I have to get the kennel so I can house train him
Mhm.
and move on and get back to work.
Great.
Now that my feistiness
Yay.
is back.
Yay, 3 cheers. Yay.
But
So-
cheers for you. Big cheers to you. And to say thank you is words fail me, and that's not a usual circumstance.
Well, thank you very much. It's just our reward is in seeing you with that wonderful puppy. So it's going to be a great. It's a match made in heaven.
I really am. And he loves to kiss, and I love the baby breath.
Yes.
It's just so much
No.
fun.
That's great. That's great. Well, congratulations. 3 cheers. Yay.
That's it.
Okay. So Adam, is there a Mr.
Now
Sci-fi
we'll get
question?
back to work.
Okay. Is there a Mr. Sci-fi question, Adam?
Yes. We have a question from Mark Lungo.
Hi, Mark.
which I'm pretty sure you know the answer to.
Okay, look out.
His question is: will Space Command scripts ever be made available to the public?
Yes. In fact, what I want to do is not just the Space Command scripts that we shoot, but they've gone through numerous drafts, and it'd be very fun to include the lost worlds of Space Command, the scripts that weren't shot or the outlines that we ended up not doing. That would be very, very fun too. So that's definitely something I'm planning as soon as I have a moment to do it. So that'll be fun. Cool. So David Bartlett, you're next on my screen. Oh, you mean move on? Go to other people?
Okay.
Okie doke. So how about you, Christine?
Oh, I'm actually new to the site.
Oh, hello.
A friend had mentioned a table.
Oh, good.
And she had sent me the Zoom link. And so she said, just sit and observe. So
Okay.
Well,
Great.
if-
Go ahead, Elaine.
Oh, if you can just introduce
Well-
yourself here.
Well, we can tell you what this is because I don't know if you were told. I mean, we've been running this roundtable for writers, directors, actors, producers for almost 30 years. It's thousands of members. There's offshoots all over the country. And then during the pandemic, we decided to do it on Zoom. And once you come to one meeting in person, quote unquote, which you have, then you can get on the table email where you can send one email out to all several thousand members. it's basically a group of people who want to help each other get stuff made. So that's
So what is your objective?
So what brings you here?
What brings me here? Well, a long time ago, I used to work in production.
Great.
I production managed and coordinated and produced and stuff. And
Great.
then I also had, I also worked in development
Mhm.
for former studio head, but that was a while ago. And
Okay.
then I left entertainment
Uh-huh.
because I couldn't write while I had those jobs. It
Right.
was just so, it was all consuming.
Yes.
So the last few years, I just tried to reignite the creative fire.
Oh, cool.
So I got into acting, and
Huh.
so that started maybe 2019,
Uh-huh.
and then 2020 was completely dead because of
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Yes.
And then I've also been working on some horror scripts. So
Oh, cool.
That's what I'm doing.
That's great. So is there anything you need or any questions you have?
Not necessarily. I think right now I'm just curious about accountability groups
Yes.
and groups
Yes.
that are supportive of each other.
Yes.
I believe that is really powerful and can be really powerful.
Yes.
So-
Well, in that regard, you can David Bartlett, who's the guy in the, I guess, purplish brownish, that guy. He can get you signed up later for the table email, and you can send out that request. You can basically say, I just joined the table, and if someone would like to be part of an accountability group with me, that'd be great. And then you just exactly. You check in once a day, and you set a page count or whatever works for you, and off you go.
Because we have many writers and we have many actors, and they all help each other.
Yes.
So as you got into acting, you could just say, I'm looking for.
Yes.
But just say I'm an actor and
Writer. Yeah.
And yes, but there are definitely groups that meet and help each other, various ones.
Yes.
So you can just
Great.
find out what works for you. Which one works
Yes. And most of the people who are members of the group are working professionals. So Elaine and I founded the group back in the previous century, and we're writer, producer, directors. We have our own studio, which David runs, our physical studio, and we've written for almost all of the major studios and networks, hundreds of hours of television, mainly science fiction and assorted other odd things.
And
So
you'll see pop up on the email if you want to get to know more of your fellow actors. Table reads.
Yes.
Usually Zoom table reads.
Mhm.
And so where you get a script and a roll and talk to other people.
And off you go. Yeah.
Off you go, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And since you're writing horror, just to let you know, not long ago I wrote a book with Guillermo del Toro, the director, and so that might be worth checking out. Not to plug myself, but it's a book about his process, his notebooks, his career, his life, his houses, everything. And it's called Guillermo del Toro's Cabinet of Curiosities, and it's available on. Yeah,
And
it's
some
fun.
and I don't know if you're good at this already or not, but some of our actor people have gotten very good at self-tape,
Yes.
which unfortunately is like the way to audition nowadays. I don't like it at all as a director, but that's gotten pretty common coin.
Yep.
And so, some people have put together really good setups for themselves.
Yes. And so there's a million ways that people will give help to you. So anything else for now?
No, just I'm having fun observing.
Oh, great. Well, welcome. And just one other thing to let you know as you're a newcomer. On Thursday nights at 5:30, we're here each week, by the way, at 5:30 to accommodate people on the East Coast. But also, I have my own YouTube channel called Mr. Sci-Fi, and we're doing a simulcast with those people. So when I go to Adam and I say, "Are there any Mr. Sci-Fi questions?" That's because we're running a feed with my YouTube channel as well. My YouTube channel has 80,000 subscribers and millions of hits. I talk about science fiction, and So Adam, that said, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, speaking of Mr. Sci-Fi, we've got a question from Todd Chamberlain.
Hello, Todd.
Who says, he says, so I hear that Babylon 5 is remastered now and back on HBO Max.
Yes.
Touching a masterpiece like B5 can be dangerous. Have you seen any of the remastered version, and what do you think?
Apparently what they've done is gone back to the original film negative. And Joe was prescient enough to shoot letterbox back then. All television back then was 3x4, but he knew what was coming, and so he shot it in widescreen, even though initially it was broadcast in 3:4 ratio. And but I don't think they've upgraded the visual effects yet. I haven't watched it in detail enough to really tell, but it looks like those are just the original visual effects that have been maybe up-resed. But the original camera negative on the live action elements, those those will be as good as any 35 millimeter film print, if they're coming from the original negative. So it's a significant improvement in the quality, the visual quality of the show. And of course, the next step would be to do new versions of the VFX. But of course, for those of us who watched the original Star Trek with reimagined VFX, many of us prefer the original VFX because the quality of the reimagined VFX on the original Star Trek was extremely variable. So, but I'm glad that HBO Max has picked it up, and great, terrific. 3 cheers. So let's see. So Thane, I guess you're next on my screen.
Here. Thane Allison, psychiatric character actor. I do some voiceover work.
Great.
I've been working on that.
Cool.
Highlight this week was I gathered about 8 of my close solo show writing actor writers, and did a critiqued stage greeting of my show. Got some great feedback. I haven't had time to incorporate it yet, but some good ideas on how to keep the characters alive and so on. And I thought it was very productive, and I got some really nice comments from people, which I appreciate. The last 20 minutes, I was with several English teachers who kept complimenting me on my writing. And as someone who has more units of attempted English than any English major has ever passed, because I had such a terrible time as an undergraduate, particularly. Wasn't the writing, it was the spelling, but that was before spell check. They would get to the 5th misspelled word, write F on the paper, and turn it back to me. And I consistently flunked the classes. So at any rate, it was nice to have English teachers complimenting me on my writing style, and my vocabulary. I frequently find that I'm way beyond the 3rd grade writing level, which gets me in trouble. My truck is semi-dead. I'm going to be trying to sell it. And so I've acquired a soccer mom reject SUV. I figure some soccer mom sent her last kid off to college and said, I'm getting rid of this, and went and bought herself a Corvette or something. But anyway, it will give me around, and it has some space in it, so can't haul as much as my pickup. But anyway, and I got a couple of questions for David that I'll do through the chat.
Okay, great.
But anyway, submitted for 3 or 4 roles. Have not booked. Have not had any. Had one audition. Not had any further auditions. And my manager agents are busily working away at getting me submitted, and I think, as she pointed out, there aren't a lot of roles for older white men these days. The world has changed. And, so with those words of encouragement, I kind of doubled down and said, what else can I keep going at? So, and I got my first COVID shot. I got one more in a couple of weeks. So
great.
In another 5 weeks or so, I'll be able to mill about a little bit.
Great.
A little bit further.
Oh, great.
I just
Anyway,
regarding the COVID shots, I just found out from UCLA that, where they said you had to get the second shot from the same location. For those of you who are following up on that stuff, they've softened that rule. I just found out today.
Good. So so one can get it from Bob Hope clinic, you know. So great. Anything else, Thane? Anything else you need?
No, I'm in pretty good shape, and still struggling with staying isolated, but considering the alternatives.
Yes, exactly. Well, good to see you as always. 3 cheers! Yay! So Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have a question from Bob Rich.
Hi, Bob.
He says, in film, TV, and literature,
Mhm.
when we're writing love stories,
Yes.
what are the best ways to keep things feeling fresh, unpredictable, and touching, rather than trite, sappy, and boring?
The most important thing is to not have people say the obvious thing. You know, you find the way for them to say subtextually what the emotion is. You find ways for it to be inventive, fresh. You draw from life, you draw from observation, you draw from anything you can, but you don't ever just write the cliche, because that is going to be crap. But that's part of it. The other thing is to say, okay, what kind of story do I want to tell? What's going to make this authentic and genuine? You know, I mean, it always circles back to sort of, what do I believe in? What feels true to me? Because that's the point of writing, is to express something that's truthful to you. And so that's some of it. Anything you wanted to add?
No, just I would sit down and make a list of every relationship that you know about, and every moment that sticks in your mind that you felt was loving.
Yes.
And just make as long a laundry list as you can, because human beings are much more interesting and complex and unexpected than these cliches. And you're very right to be concerned about that, because they've fallen into such a cliche lately that Mark and I will start to watch something where we think, oh, great actors, and we'll say, oh God, we know this beat by beat.
Yeah, no.
So it's that somehow people have gotten so immersed in theatrical romances that they don't look around them at real romances.
But so it's also useful to watch the romances, the stories that you really like, and sort of break them down, see why they work, what makes them work. Because that's, there are a lot of romances in film and TV that don't work, and there really is a dividing line. And so I would urge you to do that as well. So okay, cool. So now Dave Edison, you're next on my screen. There's Dave.
Right, then let's get this over with.
Yeah, really. Yeah, as you said, you're a proctologist.
Boy, that and whoa. So,
yes,
Judith, congratulations on the puppy machine there.
Yeah,
very cute. Good luck to the puppy. Good luck. And as usual, I'm working on Space Command. Busy week. We've had a bunch of aspects of the project in motion. I'm currently looking at a screen up here, working on the animatic for the motion comic.
Yes.
We got some really lovely finished pages from Tahani Farr.
Yes.
Of the comic book that it's the Mira Furlan arc of the comic book.
Yes.
And this will be nice. So we're trying to complete this portion of the story. Looking at it here, and it looks like I've got about 2.5 minutes left to animate. So
cool.
Minor animation.
Neat.
So working on that. That's why I'll be looking up here during the table meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, just been in. What else, Mark? What is going on that slipping my mind?
We're mounting a Kickstarter campaign for Space Command to shoot the next batch, and so I recorded the video. Yes. I recorded the video today, and you're futzing with it, and that's great. And as you mentioned, I mean, many of you know that we lost our dear friend and wonderful actor Mira Furlan a few weeks ago to West Nile virus, of all things, and she was a dear friend, and she
just a remarkable, lovely person.
Fortunately, we filmed a good chunk of her role, and so there's a lot of her great work that we'll be sharing with the audience soon. But also the prequel, which we did as an audio play with our entire cast, and also are doing as a graphic novel, as Dave was mentioning, we're combining those to create what's called an animatic, a limited animation. It's like a moving comic book, and you can watch it, and so just by happenstance, because the prequel basically shows us the backstory on all of our major characters that we meet in the pilot in the first 2-hour story, and so Mira's section of that story is what Tahani is finishing up now. So that's going to be a special Mira Furlan issue. It'll be issue number 2 of the Space Command comic book, and it's, as Dave said, it's gorgeous. She's doing a terrific job. So
right, it's standalone. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's not her complete story,
No.
but it's the prequel portion of her story. So
Mhm.
anyway, there's that. And talking about t-shirts, I'm wearing this week's suggestion. I'm wearing my Mystic Cosmic Patrol t-shirt.
Yes.
A few years ago, a production was shot on the Space Command set. And for those of you over at Mr. Sci-Fi, if you're fans of Power Rangers and things of that sort, Mystic Cosmic Patrol was a proposed parody of that type of show. And you can find it online. I believe it's still up at Funny or Die and probably on YouTube.
Cool.
We shot 3 little episodes. They're about 13 minutes each. We completed 2 of them. And let's see, who does this thing star? It's starred, I should punch up the IMDb, that, Tim Joe from This Is Us is in it. You've got Christopher Masterson from Malcolm in the Middle. Tim Russ from Star Trek Voyager is in it. We've got John Kassir as a voice. The voice of the Crypt Keeper is in it. Chris Candy is very funny, the son of John Candy. So check that out. It's from a few years ago, but Mystic Cosmic Patrol. And I'm going to keep working on this. I want you folks to stay healthy, stay well, and I'll talk to you to ASAP, if not sooner.
Yay! Thanks, Dave. So, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
There is. We've got a question from Dave A.
Yay!
Who asks, do you have any insights or comments on people going after Baron Publishing?
I don't know anything about that. So it's
apparently there was BAERN for there's
no. I mean, unlike most people, I try not to have opinions if I don't know anything. So so I'll take a pass on that one. Is there another question, Adam?
I've never heard of them.
No,
So.
I'll take. Is there another question, Adam? Perhaps. Since I punted.
I've got a question from Alex Smith of when do we get more episodes of Star Hunters Redo?
That's not my department. So, but yeah, I mean, it's, I think
that's all I've got for now.
Yeah, but I mean, one thing I will say is that science fiction has much longer legs than most other TV and movie entertainment. So, and so a lot of these science fiction shows, they're being, polished up, maybe given a new, up-res or new visual effects or something to make them more current. Interestingly enough, I feel strongly that the model work holds up better over the decades than early CG. Early CG tends to look pretty crappy. I mean, if you look at Captain Power, which is a show I developed for television that went before Babylon 5, it's very rudimentary in terms of the CG. Whereas if you look at even the original Star Trek that used physical models, miniatures, I think that's got, a lot more credibility, at least in my opinion. So yeah. So David Bartlett, do you want to take a swing for the fences now? Would you like to chime in and tell
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Go for it.
Hi everyone, I'm David Bartlett. I am a filmmaker, a teacher, and a human rights activist, and a producer on Space Command.
Yay.
Also in charge of all the crowdfunding, fulfillment, visual effects, which I'm doing right now, color correction, and all sorts of other things, and casting.
Great.
Got some good news about casting this week. We're going to turn around the corner to close a couple of really great actors for not for Space Command, but for
Sweet Haven.
We'll let Marc tell you about it.
Yeah.
Sweet Haven.
Yeah.
And that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So my background is I made my first film when I was 10. I did films in high school and worked in movie theaters until I was 1980. I moved to LA and started working pretty much right away on as an intern on some really big films. And
Abe, I worked in a movie theater too.
Yeah.
did you?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yes.
What did you do?
I was the doorman. And did you? I was the doorman. I took the tickets.
Great.
Yeah, I have a rare pedigree of having been the usher doorman for Star Wars and also at the Chinese Theater in LA.
Wow, that's
and
great.
I have this strange dubious.
You know, it became an IMAX.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes, it was way before IMAX.
Wow.
I have the dubious distinction of being the only person.
Mhm.
Yeah, the only person I know of that has washed the roof of the Chinese theater.
There you
It's a
go.
story you don't hear every day.
Yeah, well,
Our
good.
manager was coming. It was my second day. The costume didn't fit, so they stuck me on the roof of the hose, and I hosed off the roof.
Wow.
So after that, I wanted some more lofty areas, like working with Roger Corman at New World Pictures, with James Cameron when he was a production designer, and Elaine Hurd when she was an associate producer. And then I started working in post sound. And I worked on films like Total Recall and Pulp Fiction and Speed and Tremors and some others. And then I started working in more independent films of my own, and I now have 64 film festival awards. So
That's great.
all over the world. I went around the world. A human rights activist part of my job has taken me around the world twice. I shot stills and video for human rights activists, something like 7,500 videos and 20,000 stills, I think.
Wow.
Over 2 different trips.
Huh.
And that was a real, I mean, I have a lot of stories about those adventures, but I was very taken by the plight of the orphaned children. I saw some orphans and some orphanages, and they're, for the most part, really beautiful, happy, lovely kids that were just absolutely poverty stricken. So I started helping them, and I started a film project to go and film orphans who sing and dance, and I'm working on that someday. Right now I'm busy on Space Command.
Yay.
So
Yeah.
I have
Abe,
yeah.
Nope, go for it.
Story.
I didn't get a table email for this week. Did you see my message I sent you?
I don't know. Why don't we do it with the chat?
Okay.
Do it in the
I
chat,
get it from the
okay?
chat.
Yeah, the chat. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Well, but that's all.
was that my story this week?
Yes.
Watching the roof of the Chinese theater.
Yes, it's fine.
Yeah,
it works.
really.
It works very well. It's an introduction that shows
But
your range of talents, David.
Yeah,
So yes.
but
So what do you need?
What do I need? Oh gosh. Well, that is a question I'm going to table, so to speak, the answer to.
Okay.
I need a bit more sleep.
Ah.
That's one thing.
Okay.
Get into the zone on these things, like the color correction I'm doing right now. For example, I'm going to stay here until this is finished, and it's going
Great.
to take me until after the table's over.
Cool.
We have a big piece of the set that's being built. That's painting is happening right now. It's very, very interesting painting, and Marc's going to come down and check it out, and maybe Elaine too,
Yeah, sure.
to see where we're at with it and see what the progress is. We've been doing tons of visual effects, and that's been great. And let's see what else. What do I need? I'm gonna wait on that. I might come back to that one.
Cool. But one thing we can mention, David, I don't know if you did mention it, is the Space Command. We're always looking for volunteers, and we also can pay people in certain positions. And so anyone who has any kind of skills around pre-production, production, post, their assistance is very much welcome. We have a physical studio in Pico Rivera, which is right next to Whittier, just south of LA. And we're very COVID cautious in terms of keeping everyone distant and masked and
I know that's part 2 of my speech. I'm not done with part 1 yet.
Ah, okay. So go ahead.
Well, it's been very impressive, but I'm really sorry that the roof washing thing didn't play out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have had a completely different career.
Yeah.
Very strange gig.
Yeah.
The guy that was at the door had been there for many years, and he told me all kinds of stories about the footprints. And the one that stood out was that Barbara Streisand turned down 3 different invitations to have her hands and feet in the cement.
Uh-huh.
You couldn't tell me why, but she just wouldn't do it.
Wow. Well, there you go. So, that's great.
Okay, so I guess enough about me. What do you think about me? So now we've got Space Command. Space Command,
Yay.
like Marc said, is looking for volunteers and employees. We have a little money. We have a lot to do. So if you're interested in doing either one of those things, and you have skills that would be applied to Space Command, that's great. If you think that you'd like to help, but you're not sure what you could do, you should definitely call me, because I'll have all kinds of ideas for you. And there are certain things that need to get done now that we're right around the corner from doing some more filming. And there's a little bit of sanding, a little bit of painting, a little bit of, if you have electrical skills, that would be cool. If you can handle a soldering iron, that would be cool, because I need some help with that.
Great.
But there's always sanding and painting to be done. Right now, there's some detail being done on these sets that's been very nice. That has a really great effect. So we need people helping with that.
Great.
So, anything else on Space Command?
No, but one thing I'll mention, David, is you're talking about Grauman's Chinese Theater, and something that's named, of course, after Sid Grauman, who was the impresario who built Grauman's Chinese and ran it and came up with the notion of everyone putting their hand in footprints in the courtyard, which was brilliant. He was a real showman. But what a lot of people don't know is that one block further east on Hollywood Boulevard, across the street, is the Egyptian Theater, and now it's the American Cinematheque. But it was originally the Grauman's Egyptian, and because these were movie palaces, they were always looking for architectural motifs to use to make them into palaces, and so it was the Chinese theater on one side, but across the street it was the Egyptian, because that's right around when King Tut's tomb was opened in the 20s, and so that was what they patterned that after. And my grandmother was actually there for the opening premiere, and which was the silent version of the Ten Commandments, and my grandmother was in the audience for that evening. So. She told me about it, which was really, really fun. So
that's cool.
There you go.
The Egyptian Theater, when it was built, they had actually imported special costumes and created them for the ushers and the people at the box office to wear their Egyptian costumes.
Yes.
They had the entire aisle going outdoors, going up to the theater. They had cages with live monkeys in them.
Yeah.
At the door, they had those dogs with the really long pointed ears.
Yes.
Egyptian dogs. They had some real dogs there, and he really was.
Wow.
Sid Grauman was funny. He actually had a law passed. He was the first real publicity person, and there was a film called White Heat, which is a gangster movie.
Jimmy Cagney.
He had two cars speeding down Hollywood Boulevard, shooting machine guns at each other, filled with blanks. And as people were diving onto the sidewalks, they would go and they would see in the back of the cars were banners that said "See White Heat at Grauman's Chinese Theater."
That's fun.
So. The police said, you're not be doing that anymore, and they passed laws, and now we're seeing that.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
Anyways,
but that thing with the monkeys and the dogs, I think we should do that outside our studio.
We're right around the corner. All we got to do is get somebody to wear all those spacesuits of yours and just start going around getting investors.
I think we're up to 13 or 14 spacesuits now. We really need to do a fashion show. So I think that'll be great fun. So
I'll get right on that.
And have the creature our creature performer walk around.
Yes, that's good. Well, speaking of that, with David, we'll talk about the creature shortly, because I agree with you that we need to do a test run of the creatures. So we're building two 8-foot tall creatures, just for those who don't know.
We're gonna come up here. We're gonna do what's called a fog test.
Yes.
So there is fog. There are 4 different kinds of fog, for the record, and they all look different. And they all take different kinds of equipment and people. Plus, we have our sets that have all different kinds of lighting that have to be rigged for them inside the set pieces. It's an alien spaceship.
Yes.
One is experimental, and we have an 8-foot high alien that a 6-foot high woman wears in a costume.
Great.
So we're gonna have a big day where we have a couple of people in some spacesuits with lights on the shoulders and the guns, and the fog. We try different fogs. We try different camera looks and things. And that day, I'll need lots of help.
Yeah.
So being ready for that is important, and doing it is important too.
Yes, we also you didn't mention that a lot of the set pieces we've built the interior of an alien spaceship, which is very big, and a lot of the set pieces have moving lights within them. So there's a lot of really visually interesting bits and pieces, and that set is 16 feet tall, something like that. So it's pretty cool.
There's one. The one Eric built, the controller set, is 15 feet tall. It's got
a
column and then 2 giant eggs.
Yeah.
I have, I'll tell you what, I will, after I get off this part of it, I will take my phone and try to get logged back on again, and I'll show them a couple of these things. Yeah, fine, but that's great. So anything else, David? Table email.
Yay.
Yeah, okay.
So I am also handling the table email. If you have problems with the table email, you can let me know. If you want to get onto the table email, let me know. For that, you will need an email with your name, including your first and last name. You can have other symbols if you want, but it has to be your first and last name. It can't be, Mogi by Spock 22 or whatever.
Unless that is your name.
And Yahoo, not allowed. So if you want to make a new email, that's Gmail with your first and last name, piece of cake. So send it to me. I'll get you set up. And that'll be fine. If you have any other issues, then let me know in the chat. I can take care of them as we go here. And I think that's kind of it for that.
Okay.
So I have something I'm looking for in an email here. I don't teach at the table very often, and I have something I can teach to you guys, but I have to find it. So it was written up. It's a very good thing. It'll be very helpful. Anyway, in the meantime, that's it for me.
Yay! 3 cheers. Excellent.
Oh, also, by the way, do you guys like my new cameras?
Yes.
Yeah, no,
yes.
nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
You look.
it's got adjustable lighting. So what I'm gonna do is turn on some of these screens. Check this out. If I turn this off, it looks like that.
Okay.
I can adjust this.
Wow. There you go. Yeah, that's the creepy one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can
Great.
go all the way like that.
Yes.
Oh,
Wow.
nice.
Yeah. There you go. Creepy. Well, thank you for that demonstration. Yay! 3 cheers. Is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam? Nope. Adam,
Adam?
have we lost you?
Oop, no Adam.
We've lost Adam. Okay.
I'm a bit frozen here.
Yeah, that's
Hold on a
okay.
sec.
You in Texas. Yeah.
Waiting for it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there another Mr.
At
Sci-Fi?
least I'm not in Texas.
Yes. Is there another
Okay,
Mr.
here
Sci-Fi
we go.
question? Oh, wow.
Yes, we have a super chat actually
Yay.
just coming in right now.
Thanks.
From the lovely Guylinda B.
Thank you.
She says, looking forward to tonight. Has helped me through the past few days.
Yes.
Because she's in watching us in Texas right now.
Well, stay safe.
Space Command.
Stay safe.
Or I should say, go Space Command.
Yes. So there's many cool things coming up in the Space Command world. So just
Also,
watch the space.
Somebody on the Mr. Siffy
Yeah.
chat wanted to know where you got where they can get your T-shirt.
Yes, this is a T-shirt that's
That I
available.
mentioned,
This is available for sale in the Space Command store. If you go to Mr. Sci-Fi, you can click below that, and you should be able to buy this cool T-shirt. It's the cover of issue number 3 with a wonderful illustration of our Space Command alien ship set by Eric Rodriguez, our production designer. So yeah. Cool. Thank you. Thanks for asking.
And you can also find a link You can also find a link to our Teespring store on our website as well.
Yes.
spacecommand-theseries.com.
Great. Terrific. Thank you, Adam. So let's see. Carol Field, I guess you're next on my screen.
Hey, Carol.
Oh, you have to unmute. There you go.
Okay.
Got it.
I'm always so grateful to be here and beyond grateful for the two of you.
Oh, thanks.
I heard from a friend in Austin, and she said they're making them fill up their bathtubs because they might be out of water.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Have a drink. I mean,
Jesus.
Can you imagine?
Crazy.
I know. So we
start making gin and you're good.
Yeah.
We should just be so grateful to have this weather that we're having. You know?
Yes.
Couple things. This is for the musicians in the group. I think Bonnie's here. I don't know if Earl's here.
Huh.
Someone called me last week to ask if I would. I had a club act in New York all over the city. I was in 20 musicals out of New York.
Wow.
Someone asked me if I would punch in something for them, and I had no idea what they were talking about. I have never heard that term.
Huh.
Believe it or not. And I hung up my boxing gloves years ago. I said, no, Carol, absolutely. You're in the same range as her, and we just need you to fill in something. Could you? I said, well, yeah. What's punch? Just punch something in. You can even do it from your house. No big deal. We'll pay you.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, okay. I give. I don't know what that means. Punching in means if there's a song and one line isn't good and the singer can't get it or they're out of town or something, you find someone who can do it.
Wow.
Or sometimes it's not, it's just a note. You know, and sometimes it's a whole big thing, but I think they do it all the time. I've never heard that term.
How interesting.
So I'm going to do it and go into painting. I have no idea what it is.
Wow.
But I'm going to take down my boxing glove. It was embarrassing. I said, don't do it, but I don't know what you're talking about.
How funny. And Carol, one thing we just watched that might be of interest you in that regard is many people know that for My Fair Lady and King and I and West Side Story, Marnie Nixon was the great singer who replaced the lead actresses doing the songs. So on YouTube, they found Audrey Hepburn's audio tracks of 2 of the songs, and they matched it to the film. And you can now watch with My Fair Lady. You can see Audrey Hepburn actually singing 2 of her own songs in that movie, and she's quite charming. And she doesn't have the range or the power of Marnie Nixon, who was one of the great singers of all time. But it's really fun to see her her perform those 2 songs. She's quite credible.
That's so funny.
Yeah, very fun.
On a psychological level, sometimes I feel like kind of disingenuous when I'm talking about other things that I'm doing in here. Because like as an actress, I was able to say, well, I just read for this and I just called back for that and I didn't get that, but I'm going out on this tomorrow. And I just felt, like it was for real. But when I talk about that, I'm not doing that much right now. And I'm writing. I just feel kind of disingenuous, but I guess in co-ed embryonic state, I'm allowed to be who I am. And
Yes, that's the whole idea. The table is not just for the work we do; it's for the life we live, and it's to create a supportive, emotional atmosphere for those of us who have careers in the arts. And a big part of one's creative process is first of all, letting the world in, but secondly, it's also sometimes when we think we're not doing anything, we actually are. Percolating on something, and I mean, it was very funny when I was invited to write a short story for an anthology recently. I spent a few weeks worrying that I wasn't going to be able to write the story, and I took a few, for attempts at it, and then finally I decided I was going to do it, and I just sat down over a weekend and wrote it. That's Grizzled Space Jockey. That's the Space Command story about my character. But up until I actually sat down and wrote it, I had no idea if I could actually pull it off, because I write so few short stories, and but it came out fine. I'm very pleased with it. But those 2 weeks of thinking about it and kind of chewing on it and worrying about it was its gestation period to where I could sit down and write it. So
well, one thing I really appreciate about the table is that theoretically you can only be applauded when you get the role.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that if you make 20 phone calls toward getting that role, you get applauded for having the guts to do 20 calls.
Yes,
complete them. And I think that's really important. That's so much part of the game.
Yes, exactly.
I met all these people at AFM. It was so amazing. And do you know Rolling Pictures? Have you ever heard of a production company called Rolling Pictures?
I've heard of it, yes.
Well, this one guy I think he likes me. Anyways, I'll use it. So he said to me, I want to see a list because I have a ton of stuff. He said, send me a list of like log lines or something.
Cool.
So I made this list of a whole bunch of my stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
Huh.
Very genuine letter. He said, they've produced about 10 movies or something. Huh. He said, we're in the middle of doing stuff that we've been percolating during the pandemic. We don't want to anything new, but he was very, very complimentary. And he said, I really love your stuff. My stuff's real different. Everything's different. Huh. And he's like how diverse it is and all the different stuff. And please know, I'm not blowing smoke up your skirt, that I will keep you in mind.
Cool.
And I got the feeling that he meant it,
That's great.
And it was we all need the freaking kudos.
Yes.
And then my ballet teacher turned me on to a literary manager. I really liked her. I don't think she's going to take me. Just a gut. I don't think she's going to take me. But someone else I met at American Film Market has an agency called Whatever. She's a literary agent there, and I'm meeting with her tomorrow on Zoom.
Oh wow!
Cool. Congratulations.
That's great.
Why not? You know?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of I'm excited about that. I think they could use me because they're into kind of like they have a lot of they represent a lot of influencers. Give me a break. Shakespearean actress, but we have influencers. Okay? So here I come. I'm pretty genuine.
Okay.
And so that's nice. So I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know how the meeting goes tomorrow.
Okay. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
I don't know. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Cheers. Yay. Excellent. So Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question perchance? Peradventure.
Yes, we have a question from Scott Baker.
Hi, Scott.
Quite a few questions from Scott Baker.
Oh, look out.
I'm gonna ask this
we can wait for the medication to kick in.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Do you have work for just weekends? I can come down on weekends once I get vaccinated.
Absolutely. That you'd coordinate with David Bartlett. David loves to work 7 days a week, 24/7. He is a work machine. This guy never stops, never sleeps. He's just so definitely the weekends. He prefers that because when he exhausts everyone else working for him because they can't keep up with his inhuman level of tolerance and just perseverance. then yes, then the second team comes in on the weekends and he wears them out with his superhuman the persona, and then it all starts up again on Mondays. Isn't that correct, David?
And coffee.
Yes, and coffee. Yes, exactly. Exactly. But no, that is the legend. That is the man. That is David Bartlett. So yes, so absolutely, Scott, that would be appreciated. Every little bit helps. You bet. So let's see who's next on the screen. Stephen, I guess you're next on my screen. If you want to take your turn, if you're Stephen, are you there?
You guys, what's up?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm here.
Good.
Okay.
I'm
Good.
fine. So I finished that script and I sent it to all you guys for the table.
Great. Good. Cool. So did you?
So, what was your question?
Oh, just yeah. So you sent it, and you were asking for feedback and notes and so forth.
Yeah, and I also want to know how to maybe submit it to like one of the big agencies or how to get it out there. What I need to do to get to the big leagues.
It's an interesting question. There are the first question they always ask is, do you have representation? And it's actually it's a trick question, because what they really mean is, does anyone believe you have ability beyond yourself? And
Yes,
but there are ways around that. The blacklist is highly regarded, and you can actually pay, I don't know, $20 to have them give you notes. And if they really like the script, they can get it in front of the people it needs to be in front of. So the blacklist I would recommend. And there's certain screenwriting contests also that are very highly regarded, like the Nichols. And again, it's not expensive to enter these contests, and that also gets you in front of the people who you need to be in front of, or any of us would need to be in front of. So that's some of it. You know, the challenge is always to find what's going to get people to notice any given script, because there's so many being written. So that's what I would advise.
Yeah, and how did you get involved with Guillermo del Toro?
I decided on certain people that I wanted to mentor me, and I had sort of a list of people, and I ran into Guillermo at Comic-Con one year, and I introduced myself to him. This is back before Pan's Labyrinth, when he could actually walk the floor of Comic-Con without being mobbed. And he had read The Twilight Zone Companion, which is a book that I wrote, and liked it very much. And so he just kind of, and then a couple of years later, I ran into him again at Comic-Con, and so he knew who I was. And then they were looking for someone to write this book with him. And there are two big awards in science fiction, the Hugo Award and the Nebula Award. And we were both nominated the same year for both of those awards. He was nominated for Pan's Labyrinth, and I was nominated for the Star Trek episode I did with George Takei. So I think that put my name in front of him. And so when they needed a writer to work on that book with Guillermo, and so they approached me and said, would you be interested in writing this book? And I said yes. And it wasn't because I needed to write a book particularly. It was because I wanted to learn from Guillermo del Toro. And this was a perfect opportunity. Now, there's been a very, very positive fallout from that, because in addition to the book being extremely well received, and I'm very proud of it, Guillermo has become someone who is very, who I'm always in communication with. And he's just recommended me to his agent and manager to represent me. So, so that's really great. So, but that's
awesome.
Yeah. So, I mean, so the point is that when it's not a pandemic, going to things and meeting people is a very good idea, particularly if you're clear on whose work you love, you know, because obviously people like Steven Spielberg are going to be besieged, but if it's someone who isn't as in demand, they might be a little more approachable. So that's.
Well, it's amazing how COVID's lasted a whole year and how we had to give up our freedom.
Yes, but again, we all learned to be part of Zoom, and that's created other possibilities. I don't see, I mean, as long as everyone stays safe and is, of course, harmed by COVID or recovers like Adam did, then I see this time as a great opportunity. I don't see it as anything negative other than the fact that people have been, you know, killed and severely impacted. But in terms of, Elaine and I haven't slowed down at all. We increased our level of creativity, and so I think everything can be turned toward possibility if one is inventive. So, you know, so that's my thought about that. So anything else you need, Stephen, or any other questions you have?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yay! Good to see you.
Yeah.
So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Too. I hope you guys will read my script. I sent
Okay, great. Well,
it to the group.
Great. 3 cheers. So, Adam, is there another
Keep
Mr.
an eye out for it.
Great. Is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes, we have a question from Captain Shannon Murphy.
Hello.
Who says, since everything probably won't be normal for the next year in terms of, should I start over?
No, not at all.
Breaking up.
Keep going. No, we can hear you.
Okay. Since everything probably won't be normal for the next year in terms of gatherings, I'm putting off going to Comic Cons and geeky things like that. But I've caught cabin fever. What do I do to pass the time?
Well, where are you located would be an important question, because obviously if you're near the Arctic Circle, that's a different answer than if you're here in Los Angeles. The real answer, there's several answers. First off, reach out to people whose work you love, people who might be of kindred spirits. You might look at the Comic Cons and so forth that were on like year before last, because you could just go down those list of people, and most of them are on social media, and you could actually reach out to them and then maybe make a connection so that when the pandemic's over, you could actually get together for tea or coffee or a bite. Beyond that,
well, you don't have to really think that far in terms of being, because what usually doesn't happen, because things are so rushed in conventions, is you say, I love your work, and then you go away.
No, yeah.
But if you take a minute,
or you get tased.
Yeah. But if you take a minute to say, I love your work because, and you say something personal,
yes,
and you, without asking for anything, you just say, I love your work because this is what it does for people, or I really like this one scene because this is what it meant to me personally.
Right.
But that's a way of just gifting people that you admire, and that would be the best way to get a response.
But also, as a separate answer to the question that's not career related, there's a million things you can do to find fun. I mean, Elaine and I have taken to, like, sometimes on our off days, we'll drive just in any direction and see what we discover. For instance, I didn't know until I did that here in Los Angeles, Sunset Boulevard becomes Cesar Chavez Boulevard once you head into East LA. I didn't know it was the same street. And again, LA is so varied that there's remarkable things you can discover. For instance, we drove out to Pasadena, and Vroman's bookstore, which I thought had closed years ago, is still there. And so it's a bookstore that's been open since the 19th century. And so
if you drive a couple hours to the east, you come home with a puppy.
Yes, if it's Judith, yes, with Judith, but we don't want to do that too often. And but the thing,
there's Lakeshore Drive.
Yes.
Which, they wrote a song about.
Yes, but there's many things. I love to just go places and observe the world. Just watch things. I mean, you want to be smart. You want to stay, particularly now that there's a vaccine. You don't want to be imprudent so near the end of hopefully what will be the end of this pandemic. So, but keeping social distance, wearing your mask, all that stuff, or two masks or whatever. There's a lot. You just go out into the world, just take in the world, go do things you haven't done before, go directions you haven't done. There's a million things to discover. And I would say, don't just watch TV. Don't just be on your computer. There's something about going out into the world, going out into the air, that I find very refreshing. And so Elaine and I will
Robert Frost's The Road Not Taken and take it from there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And but the other thing is, just Elaine and I sometimes go for walks, or we'll go for a drive, or any number of things. I mean, you never know. I mean, there's always surprises. So okie doke. So let's see. I guess I'm looking who's next. Brian, you're next on our screen, so go for it.
Hi, everybody. Brian Hassick, filmmaker, writer, sometimes artist. Right now I'm just doing writing. I'm going through a script I wrote in 2012.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Great.
Wow. It's been a while. But yeah, this is my 4th or 5th attempt. And I'm going to try and get this done and then turn it into a kind of a full season pitch TV show. So that's
great.
Basically all that's been on my mind, and I'm happy to have this little break.
Mm-hmm. Great. So is there anything you need?
Not at the moment.
Okay, 3 cheers. Yay. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Just a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Juggling a few
plates
in the air here.
Sure. You bet.
Yeah. So yes, we do have Where was it? I know I saw it. There it is. A question from Hayes494, who says, I enjoyed your review for Star Trek Discovery a few weeks back.
Thanks.
But the Trill episode you were critical about also wrote the ESG and the Pegasus episode. Was the failure of the episode her fault or Kurtzman?
I thought it wasn't the actors specifically; it was the writing. That for me, that show has always been plagued with extremely problematical writing. And as much as I root for it, particularly because Doug Jones, who's in Space Command, is also in Star Trek Discovery, I find it. I don't watch the show for enjoyment. I watch it because I want to know what they're doing so I can talk about it. And I don't like to speak negatively about people at all. But I just, I mean, when you watch the original Star Trek, or if you watch Twilight Zone, the original, there are people writing those shows who had something to say and had really examined it profoundly so what they said would be meaningful. And I don't get that feeling with Star Trek Discovery. And Star Trek is such a wonderful opportunity to write something meaningful. I'm very proud of Far Beyond the Stars, for instance, and also World Enough in Time, which is the thing we did with George Takei. When you have an opportunity to do something profound and meaningful and lasting, it's such a lost opportunity when you don't seize that possibility. And that's my feeling about Star Trek Discovery. So there you go. So Bonnie, I guess you're next.
So I was thinking, I'm talking about the Bonnie Janowski, composer and songwriter, anything musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about a funny experience at the Chinese Roman Theater, as it was at the time. When this is a long time ago, but like early to mid 70s. Blazing Saddles had come out, and I went with my boyfriend at the time, and we went to watch it at the Chinese Roman Theater. And of course, the scene comes up that's filmed there. So that was just kind of funny.
That's fun.
Thought of that for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
This week I've been getting involved in the new app, Clubhouse. So that's interesting. I don't know how many of you have tried that, but it's interesting. Just a lot of discussions that you can listen in on. Some you can share as well.
Great.
Some you're just listening. All kinds of subjects. Many entertainment.
Wow.
Talks. And a couple people are running even like filmmakers speed dating, so you can have 30 seconds to talk about what you're doing. So it's kind of interesting. Some people said they're making really, really great connections on there, but a composing friend told me about it. And actually they give you 5 invites. I think I have one person now, but I can invite 5 people. It's in beta and it only works on iPhone for now, so it doesn't work on Android or anything. And it's semi-officially released. So that might be of interest to some people. And let's see, what else? Doing more work for somebody who's putting out a bunch of music books. And then still waiting on 2 films, one by a table member, Mike Lopez, and another non-table member that got stalled because of COVID. Sure I'm forgetting other things, but the composer group that I've mentioned sometimes. So now we released a bunch of Valentine songs. And so that came out, but then also, then we started doing more collaborating, and I'm just having so much fun collaborating with different people in the group. And one piece I started to write was kind of a big band tune, and then when they added their magic, became kind of they were saying, oh, this is perfect for background music for like Animal Planet or something. And he was right, yeah. So we're building a music library with this group. So
that's great.
Maybe other stuff, but anybody needing anything music, just let me know.
Oh, great. Thanks, Bonnie. Okay, yay.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, Mark.
Yes.
Bonnie just finished up, so have we
Great.
anything for
another
Mark
Mr. Sci-Fi question,
Mr.
guys?
Sci-Fi?
I'm back.
Nope.
Nope, nothing?
Hey, Mark.
Yes, David.
I got that thing I was going to help people. I'm going to do a little teaching, which is like I don't get to do very often. So it's along the subject of something you and I talked about called delegating.
Yes.
Everyone likes to be able to delegate. So what is delegating? To entrust a task or responsibility to another person.
Mm.
So step one is get very clear with yourself on what you need delegating.
Mm-hmm.
Very specific. Number two, be willing to delegate it to someone else. That can often be the one that people trip up on. Then find someone who is capable of doing that for you, not just a friend who's well-meaning. Get them in agreement with doing it for you. Sometimes we miss that one. Get very clear with them exactly what you want them to do, and then in bold type out here, in writing.
Uh-huh.
Schedule very specific targets for them. Get them into agreement with those targets.
Okay.
Adam, I just had a little dance about this that worked out very well.
Mm-hmm.
Now here's the one that's in bold type. Don't micromanage them.
Mm.
If you find yourself having to micromanage them, you are not delegating, and you need to review the above steps and find out what is wrong.
Okay.
And then the last one is make sure the targets are met.
Great.
Yeah, okay.
That's great. Well, 3 cheers. Yay. Well said.
Can you share that on the chat, David?
I will. I'm going to paste
Yeah.
it in the chat.
Great.
Great.
Yeah,
Lovely.
exactly.
Okay.
So Adam,
Sure.
there are no Mr. Sci-Fi questions at this stage?
No.
Sorry, I had to take a phone call, but
Oh, I see.
Yes, we do have another Mr. Sci-Fi question.
Great.
Another one from Scott Baker,
Great.
and who asks, could there be a spin-off table created, especially for those who want to enter the industry, like a beginner's table?
Well, we tend to let.
Isn't that just a table in general?
Sort of, yeah. I mean,
The entire table's a beginner's table.
yeah. I mean, essentially, what happens with the table is that we're regardless of how well established one is in the industry, we have Oscar and Emmy winners and all that stuff, but also we have people who are just literally just starting. What usually determines if someone's going to stay is if they're willing to put stuff into action. If they're just there to listen and not actually take any action, those people tend not to last long, simply because why are they there? But if one is open to taking action, then yes, you could just reach out to David Bartlett at and David could or Adam could send you the link, and you could be on the other computer screen to ask, with all the other table members who are here right now. So again, it's mainly that someone come with a good heart and and be willing to learn and grow and help others. And I mean, it's not a mystery. I mean, I think someone was just talking to me the other day, and they were complimenting me something I'd done, God knows whatever. But I said, I don't have arrogance. I treat people equally, and because I'm open to what people can bring, rather than judging them, it's made my life so much richer. And and so I'm very glad, because I find the arrogance of Hollywood extremely counterproductive and ugly. And I mean, I started the table mainly because I wanted to create something that was the antidote to all the toxicity that I'd seen in Hollywood. And
it's interesting you should say that it's not a mystery, because one of the reasons he started the table was it felt like a mystery
to many people, because they were getting bad advice.
Yeah.
Because so much of what's common sense in the Hollywood advice books is total bullshit.
Yeah.
and people just waste their time and end up in the gutter drinking woolite or whatever. So it's
that's the reason for the table. People who've done it.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go. But definitely follow up with Adam or with David Bartlett, and they can help you out with that. So
better drinking woolite. Great film reference.
Yes. So let me see who's next.
Talk about trivia.
Yeah, really, exactly.
I think we have
Christine Laurie.
Hi, Christine.
So I have listed my contact information in the chat. Yay me. Figured out how to copy things.
Great.
At any rate, I kind of tailing in on the Mr. Sci-Fi question. I joined the table, I feel like it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have no idea what I want to do. I just know I want to do something.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to start working on different projects. Somebody put an IMDb together for me, and it started listing out credits. And so I found over time that I have applicable skills that are transferable.
Yes.
And that people can delegate things to me that I am a capable person.
Huh.
Whereas before I was like, I don't know,
Mm.
I don't know, and now I have more of an understanding about it.
Yes.
So it was funny because you were talking, Mark, about driving around, and my daughter's living with me, and so we've done some driving around, and I found the old road.
Huh.
There was an old road, and it like Santa Clarita by Magic Mountain, and it just keeps going, and it's like next to the freeway, but not on the freeway.
Wow.
So the teacher like, where did that end? This is kind of spooky, this old road.
Huh.
That was kind of funny. Getting off the computer, I definitely.
It's like a Route 66.
Yes.
Cars.
Yes, that's great. Yes.
Did you find Radiator Springs?
I did not find Radiator Springs. I'll have to write that one down.
Yeah, really.
Sometimes on our drives, we're like, okay, well, what do we want to do? I'm like, well, if we leave now, we might be able to see the sunset at the beach.
Huh.
Well, if we leave now, we might be able to see, the city lights of downtown LA before they close everything. One day we went to Eagle Rock to find out what Eagle Rock was named after, which apparently there's a rock that looks like an eagle. And it's not worth the drive.
Yeah, yeah. So
Just
the one thing to mention, Christine, off what you're saying is, years ago when I was a teenager, I got the idea of driving to the beach to see the sunrise, and I was there sitting and watching, and the sky just got lighter and lighter, and I realized that the sun rises in the east, and I was looking at the Pacific Ocean, and so so that was a very important lesson in my life. And but also one thing I want to mention in terms of your talking about gaining knowledge and gaining skills. I had a terrific lesson many years ago. One of my mentors was Bruce Joel Rubin, who wrote the movie Ghost and won the Oscar for that. And I was offered two jobs at the same time. I was offered the job of an executive story editor on a TV series on USA Cable, and also the job of being a commentator on Morning Edition. And I said to Bruce, which one of these should I take? And he said, take both and grow big enough to do them. And that was terrific. And I did that. And I actually did both of those jobs. And I'm very, very glad that I did. So there you go. So please go ahead.
No worries. Also, just to tell off on something you said earlier about writing your book.
Yes.
And I remember when you sent an email out to the table group. I don't know if it's elsewhere or if you need to invest in the Kickstarter to get it as a perk. But I love when you read your story.
Oh, thank you.
Storytelling.
Thanks.
It's written in film, and you just have a really nice voice when you're reading it.
Oh, thank you.
Really cool.
Well, thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. For myself, I'm continuing to network. I've figured out a lot of things about LinkedIn, which is my only social media, and find that I'm still learning a lot of things about LinkedIn. And I've joined more networking groups on Zoom, and I kind of can spot the people who are just beginning, and I don't feel like I'm in a place to really help them, and so I've kind of figured out how to hitch my wagon to a star, and
yes.
who I
Yes.
want to network with, and that's something that you've said before, and it's who do you want to work with? Who do you want your friends to be? Because when you work with your friends, then it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like you're hanging out with your friends and you're accomplishing something in a better way.
Yes. Yes.
This group is extremely important. That it's not about. It is much more win-win if I have an idea and you have an idea, and you can help me with my idea and I can help you with your idea, even if it's not my exact field.
Yeah.
Then in we both have this really amazing product that we wanted to put together.
Great. That's great.
So I'm just very thankful for the group. I don't actually have an ask right now.
Okay.
And that's it.
Okay.
And Ian, put your puppy back up again. We want to see the puppy.
Yes. Yes. Where's the puppy? Where's the puppy?
That's right.
Ay. But okay, let's see. Oh, little lower, little there. Yay! What a cutie. That's a puppy. There you go. That's her new puppy.
Oh,
Wow, what a cutie pie. What a cutie.
Yay.
Yay, 3 cheers for you. So, okay, so great. Yay. 3 cheers. Yes, I heard a voice. Yes.
There's one place where
thanks.
the sun actually comes up over the Pacific Ocean.
Really?
Yes.
Where is that?
It's in Panama.
Wow. Wow.
If you look at the map, it kind of makes an S curve.
Wow.
And there's a place in Panama where the sun actually comes up over the Pacific
Wow.
Ocean.
Wow. Wow. Yeah.
You just had to go a little bit south.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a place you couldn't tell people to put it where the sun don't shine. So okay, good. Good. That's useful to know. So Adam, thank you, Thane. Is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have a really good one from Mark Lungo.
Oh, great. Hi, Mark.
He says sometimes writers say that their characters surprise them.
Yes.
Have the Space Command characters ever surprised you?
Yes. I mean, the great thing about writing is that if you're doing it well, you might even know the specifics of the story or the specifics of the shot, but there's always going to be surprises if you're in it and letting it sort of speak to you. If you're so controlling that there's no surprises, then you're not really taking the full ride. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially since you've put characters that you come to know more and more in situations that you personally would never be in, and then all of a sudden you're saying, well, what would this personality say or do in this surprising situation?
Right.
And then suddenly you come up with something that you never would have thought of because your own life is on a different track.
Yes. And so, but also, as you learn to be comfortable with the process, it's funny because when I wrote the first Magic Time novel with Barbara Hambly, and Elaine also contributed to it, I was very rigid and very controlling, and it's still a very good book. I'm very proud of it, but I didn't feel that looseness. And then Ray Bradbury was my mentor, and he said, you ride on it. You let it take you where it's going to go. You don't over control. And so for the third novel, when I wrote that, I just opened to it, and it was a much more pleasurable experience. And the third book is my favorite of the 3. And that was partially because I had learned how to write a novel from Barbara Hambly, who was my collaborator, who was a novelist, a talented one. But it was also that I was giving myself permission to not have as tight a grip on it. And I knew where it was going, and I knew what I was going to do with it, but it was really much more of a fun experience. So there you go. So Marc Gushowitz, the famous Marc Gushowitz. Yay!
Hey, hi, how you doing?
Good.
Okay, I always say that because I don't know if I'm talking and you're not hearing me or whatnot. It's a good way to check.
Yeah.
I've been on some of these Zoom chats where they'll just look at me and go, "You're talking, but we can't hear you." So for people who don't know me, I think there's a couple. My name's Marc. I am an editor. This has been a very slow month for me, but it's okay because it's allowed me to work a little bit more on some personal projects that work was slowing down. My short film is in its final phases. I think once Earl finishes the music, the music/sound will officially be done. And he handed me some stuff early this week. We went over it. He's working on some tweaks and everything. So hopefully that'll be done relatively soon. I'm putting together a website/podcast that deals with unseen, underseen, misunderstood movies. Still looking for a name. Still trying to figure out a name for this thing. But the website's pretty much built. I've started writing some reviews, and I've just locked in a third guest for the podcast.
Wow.
People kept telling me I should go after Del from Dark Galaxies.
Yes.
And, this weekend I went in and I talked to him, and he's on board.
Great.
I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It'll be my first more than 10-minute conversation with him in the 8 years I've known him.
Yeah.
Occasionally I go into the bookstore and I'm shopping and we have a little conversation and that's it. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That's going to be great.
And then the big news for this week, you say famous. Well, let's hope fame comes to me this week. Is I was interviewed on a podcast called Skywalk Through Neverland, all about the Muppets.
Okay.
Because the Muppets start on Disney Plus tomorrow, and I wanted to do a big show, and we talked for about an hour and a half about Muppets and only Muppets.
Uh-huh.
So that was a lot of fun. Hopefully their fans will enjoy it, and then when I get my podcast up and my website up, some of them will transfer on over, and we can start getting an audience for that. But if you want to hear a really interesting conversation about the Muppets, it's over at skywalkingthroughneverland.com.
Great. And I thought of a title for your podcast. It sort of sucks, but I'll share it anyway. It would be Movie Marc's Lost Gems. It's not bad. It's just not great, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah, no, but it has a direction that I can see maybe.
Yeah, because it's like Movie Marc tells you that it's about cinema, and then it's Movie Marc's Lost Gems. It's like, oh, okay, these are movies that you wouldn't have seen, but check them out and you'll really dig them.
Right. I was playing, the last two I was playing around with was Movies to Discover and Movies to Love. I had come up with all the right movies, which I was really set on doing until I found out there was already a website called that. And that I was really like that name because it actually is a play on a movie that I will probably be writing about. But unfortunately, it's already taken. I will write yours down and say it one more time. Movie
Marc's Lost Gems. And also that allows you to brand yourself. Hi, this is Movie Marc, showing you the it's like Mr. Sci-Fi. It's like, hi, it's Movie Marc, and I'm here to present with you this great Tex Ritter film or whatever,
It's funny that you say.
Plus, it's alliteration.
Yes.
It's funny that you say brand myself because over the last couple of years through Talking Apes, I was branded as the Mellow Kubrick. I hadn't heard that in a long time, and so we posted on Skywalk Through Neverland that I was going to be the guest, and people started Facebooking in the return of the Mellow Kubrick.
That's funny.
So, because I get really detail oriented when I discuss things, and so they were comparing me to Kubrick, but not as far as he gets with his details.
Yes.
So, but I like the idea of incorporating my name. I'll put this in. I'm throwing out names to people to get reactions and everything.
But Movie Marc is good simply because Marc Gushowitz, they won't remember that name. It's too difficult. But Movie Marc, it's like, hey, did you see the film that Movie Marc shared with us last week? The Undersea Kingdom. It's great. Or whatever. And
I
so
like the idea of that.
Yeah.
Then it also brands my name, and if it rolls off of people's tongues, it's easy to read me out.
I mean, another possible title would be My Movies Don't Suck Like Yours.
Well, hey, let's face it. One of the best book titles in movie review history is Roger Ebert's Your Movie Sucks. So
I didn't know that.
You're gonna read that.
I had no idea. So Elaine,
I was just going to suggest opinionated Gushowitz opines.
Opinionated Gushowitz opines. Blah. Yes.
Well, the opinionated kind of works just on when they compared me to a Muppet on the podcast. They said I was Waldorf and Statler. So
that's funny. Great. So anything else you need?
No, that's it. But if anybody comes up with names, they want to throw it at me, email it to me or whatever. And then what I'm doing is I'm taking all the ones that I like and I'm running it by, people to say, would this strike your interest kind of thing. But I'm right now liking maybe incorporating my name into it. So I'm glad you said that.
The other one that just occurred to me was the Lost Movie Palace. That's kind of intriguing and mysterious. So it's
but it kind of takes you in the wrong direction.
It does, but who cares? There's stupid people just sitting at home. They don't know what they're doing. They're just looking for diversion. Who cares?
We had toyed around with figuring out a way to say like a movie vault. So like I originally had cinematic buried treasures because that's what I'm doing is I'm like digging titles for you.
Yeah, you could call it
one that I liked, but
yeah.
But I appreciate it. If anybody else has any ideas,
you could call it Movie Marc's Movie Vault of Movies.
Maybe a little too many movies in there.
So great, but yay, Marc Gushowitz, ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only. Okay, so So, Adam, is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question?
Yes, we have a question from Scott Baker.
Okay, great.
Who says Queen guitarist Brian May wrote he spells it Filk song?
Yes,
Is that right?
yes. No, Filk song.
Filk song.
That's a Filk song is folk songs by science fiction fans that deal with science fiction material. Yeah, it's a specific subgenre.
So,
like Carmen Miranda's Ghost.
It's a kind of music you never want. It's kind of music you never want to hear. But go ahead, please.
Yeah. So he wrote a Filk song called 39 about a man who scouts a new planet and returns to an aged Earth due to time dilation.
Yes.
Should Filk songs be in Space Command?
Well, you know, Maya Bonhoff, who wrote the second Magic Time novel with me, is a Filk singer. And so she'll write, you know, songs about science fiction. The problem I have, I've never particularly liked Filk songs. I you know, like to take... like the Music Man song "You Got Trouble" and change the lyrics so it's "You got trouble right here on Vulcan" or whatever. It's like, oh God, I don't go away, please. But it's just my own prejudices. But there are a few really good songs. Like for instance, "The Green Hills of Earth" by Heinlein has a very good song in it. It's about a blind singer of the spaceways, and there were several radio adaptations, and one of them actually put a melody to it that was quite catchy, and so that song sort of sidesteps the cringe factor. But so I don't. I mean, look, the fans are welcome to do their own songs based on Space Command, but don't assume that I will be humming along. So yeah. But I mean, but again, everything is changeable. I have opinions now that I never would have had 10 minutes ago. So
who did a really good one is Bill Mumy.
Yes.
Did a song, I think around 1999 or something to that effect, called "The Ballad of William Robinson."
That's funny. That's great. Well, also a great song.
It's
yes.
There's nothing funny about it. I mean, it really takes it seriously.
That's great.
Interesting song.
Well, also another great song is Science Fiction Double Feature in Rocky Horror Picture Show. That's one with all sorts of really aficionado references in it. That song's a great song. Yes. But so great. So let's see. So I guess Elaine, it's your turn.
Oh, just
go for it.
Yes. Just juggling one too many balls. Because I'm juggling with my stuff and with Space Command and with my the piece I'm helping with the Mafia and South Africa. So right now I can't complain because I have an awful lot to do, but just a little bit too much to do. So spread a little bit thin, but outside of that, no complaints.
Yay!
No complaints.
Anything you need?
Not a few $1 million like the rest of us. So nothing more than funding for a film.
Okay, yay, Elaine. So is there another Mr. Sci-Fi question, Adam?
Yes, I think I got one more here. Let's
Great.
do.
Look at that cute puppy. Oh my God.
Actually, I'll do a combined one.
Sure, you bet.
With Hayes94 and Captain Shannon Murphy.
Great.
Both have questions about Space Command characters. One who's asking, would you consider creating a Space Command character of Iranian descent? And Captain Shannon Murphy wants to know if any characters are Southerners.
Yes. Bob Picardo in the pilot plays a Muslim character because I felt Muslims were very badly represented in American media, and so he's just a working guy. He's a mining foreman overseeing, synthetics on Ceres, and his spirituality is a part of his life, but he's not the Muslim, And so, because I wanted to have a fully rounded character, he's not specifically Iranian, but I'm certainly not against. Or in any way, I mean, sure, yes, I think Farsi is a lovely language, and I wouldn't mind having an Iranian character, particularly if they're from the South. But Southern characters, I haven't written specifically a Southern character, but that doesn't mean I won't. Oddly enough, Ethan McDowell and Brian McClure are both living in Atlanta now, but neither of them is from the South. They're both from the Midwest. but yeah, I mean, sure, absolutely, I will. So I mean, usually I find actors that I want to work with, and then I write roles specifically to them, like I did with Bob and Doug Jones and Mira Furlan and Bill Mumy and so forth. But there's no telling. So possibly, sure, yeah, you bet.
I mean, it's very. Whenever we meet somebody who isn't from the mainstream media, we sort of do glom onto them, and because it's just very interesting.
Well, Elaine wrote a
screenplay.
Well, Elaine wrote a screenplay set in Arkansas and went there to research it and so forth.
That was fascinating. So it was Arkansas people, and I interviewed a lot of Arkansas people here, and I drove all the way through Arkansas, stopping and talking to people.
Yes,
and so everybody said, well, whenever I write about a place, they say it feels very planted. That's because I actually
plant yourself there.
I plant myself there, not for a day, but for quite a while.
You're embedded.
So I embed. So and it's a piece called Caesar,
and it's great.
It's a comedy. It's got a dog in it, but it's also
a love story.
It's also a love story, and it's also about having to grow up when you're past 30.
Yep,
so,
there you go. Yeah. So great. 3 cheers, Elaine. So great. So I guess, did we do the final Mr. Sci-Fi question? I guess we did. So now it's me, wonderful me. Yeah, it's me, wonderful me. So lots going on. We're finishing the second hour of Space Command in terms of visual effects. We're getting more of the graphic novel pages in, and they're gorgeous. We are ramping up to shoot more of the 4th hour, so we've got one of the creatures nearly finished, and of the 2 that we're building, and the alien spaceship is nearly finished, and we're about to launch a new Kickstarter campaign, and I shot the video today, and Dave is working on it. And beyond that, Sweet Haven, the Showrunners Network, we're moving ahead on that, raising the money to make 6 pilots and take it out as a slate of 6 shows, and I'm co-creating those shows with Rockney O'Bannon, who created Farscape, and Marc Ferguson Hawk Ostby, who created The Expanse for television and ran it, and Joe Dougherty, who was executive producer on Pretty Little Liars for 7 years and won the Emmy for 30-something, and I'm also exploring doing a new Rod Serling series, and so I'm in communication with Rod's daughter and their agent, and so it keeps going. And Sweet Haven, which is the one I'm creating with Rock, and Elaine and I co-wrote the pilot script off of an outline that I did with Rock. That has Michael Harney and Gates McFadden and Barbara Bain and a number of other wonderful actors in it. And what David was referring to earlier, I've just reached out to Veronica Cartwright's agent, and for her to play a role in Sweet Haven. She was in The Birds, she was in Alien, she was in The Invasion of the Body Snatchers with Donald Sutherland. She's a wonderful actress, and so hopefully she'll say yes. And then also I'm going to reach out to Joanna Cassidy, who was Zora the Snake Lady in Blade Runner, and see if I can get her to play a role as well. So we're going to do a Zoom table read of that script very, very soon, and the entire cast is for the most almost exclusively 60 and older, because it takes place in a world where everyone under 60 dies, and the people 60 and above have to figure out how to save humanity when they can't reproduce. So pretty cool. And so that's sort of what's going on with us. Oh, I'm also writing a new book called Greenlighting Yourself, and I'm past the 2/3 mark on it. So that's great. So in the next couple months, I'll have the first draft done, and can't wait. And that book is already sold, and Silman James is going to be publishing it. And it was funny because I just thought today, Christine, you referencing something you said, I think I may read the audiobook version of that book myself. I think it'd be kind of fun. So watch this space. And speaking of audiobooks, the Magic Time books are all on Audible. The Magic Time audio play with Christina Moses and Armin Shimmerman is on Audible. And The Twilight Zone Companion, the audiobook of that, is on Audible as well. So so if you're just sitting at home wondering what audiobooks to listen to, those are some good ones. So so that's about it. So I think we've come to the end of our evening's journey. You can watch Mr. Sci-Fi on my Mr. Sci-Fi YouTube channel. You can watch Space Command there. And we're here every Thursday at 5:30. So thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Yay! 3 cheers. Stay safe. Stay well. And we will see you.
just so you know, I'm gonna be shooting my movie starting next week.
Yay!
So, I'll be out
Congratulations.
of town, but I'll have everything set up